Hey guys, it's Videobob from Bob's Prop Shop. We're here in our Las Vegas location. You know, you're probably going to see a lot of unboxing videos of the new Hasbro Haslab Pulse Proton Pack from Afterlife. I'm not going to waste your time taking it out of a box. I think there's probably plenty of videos out there of people unboxing it. And we've all seen Adam Savage take the thing apart and show it to us back a year ago when it was supposed to come out. I've been waiting a year for my Proton Pack, and of course I already had the wand. And I thought I would do something a little bit different that probably you're not going to see maybe anybody else do. Maybe, I don't know. I wanted to show the difference between their Proton Pack and what we're going to call a real one. This is one of our Master Series Proton Packs that's molded from the original screen-used shell. Pretty much every Proton Pack that you see floating around eBay or in some of the fan forums is either a copy of the same one that I got it from or a copy of mine, or very few people have actually made one from scratch and sold that, and some people have, and that's great. And we're not really selling our Proton Packs right now, so don't ask. Sometimes we put them up for sale. We have a couple for sale. I don't expect anybody to buy any of them right now because, you know, these things were what, 400 bucks, and then you had the wand for another 150 bucks. So you got $600 in one of these, which I don't see how they could make this thing. I don't know how they're making any money. I think they lost money, but I think they sold something like 17,000 of these. So just hold tight. If you didn't get one from the original initial order, you're going to see them hitting eBay and everything for sale like crazy, because a lot of people probably bought the maximum number of 5 and their plan was to resell them, and they're going to come out of the woodwork as they get delivered. So, you know, just hold back a little. The prices will start coming down. There's thousands of these out there. Now, what I'm hoping is that people will discover these, and maybe it'll kind of get them fired up about getting what we call a real one. And when I say a real one, this one is made just like the one from the film. I mean, it's made out of fiberglass and metal. It's got real parts on it and things. So this is exactly pretty much like the one that was in Ghostbusters 2. Let me turn it on here. Now, we're using on this particular pack one of the Mattel ones. And I have made these packs with custom resin wands, metal wands, the Mattel wand, and the Hasbro wand. I thought it would be great to show the differences between the Mattel wand and the Hasbro wand, which has been done. But I thought this would be fun. So let's take a look at some of the things on this pack. So this pack is sort of a mishmash between part 1 and part 2, because you got part 2 cabling here, but you got a part 1 gray Raytheon knob, which is a real one. This is the real actual one, and this is their version, which you're using for a volume. I've got the GB2 cable, and that's basically what they have as well, because obviously in Afterlife it would have been after Ghostbusters 2, of course. Let's just take a look at some of the texture. I think they went a little overboard on some of the texturing. Maybe it doesn't translate on camera as much, and I'll try to get some super close-ups here. But it's very plasticky, it's very shiny. I think that the best thing to do would be to kind of deconstruct this pack, take it apart, and then maybe repaint it in flat black and re-weather it again to get a little bit more of a real look. You know, of course it comes with this stand. It comes with the stand because a real Proton Pack, if done correctly, will stand on its own, as you see here. The design of the Proton Pack, that little foot that's at the bottom, that's a foot, so that the pack should be able to stand up on its own. If you bought a Proton Pack from somebody and it doesn't stand up on its own, it's probably because they didn't do it right. Now, what is cool about the way the Haslab pack is that they designed it so that it could be operated by the wand. So when you turn it on, let's see, there's that switch. There's another switch here. And I'm not sure exactly what this does. Look, this is the kind of a problem I'm having. Every time you touch it, something falls off. But anyway. It's not very loud at all. I mean, it is vibrating. You get the sounds that come out of the wand if I hold it up to the microphone. But I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear this in a room where there's noise at all. Okay. Let me turn that off. I like the little switch there. That's kind of cool. As sort of a contrast, here's the way our packs are done. So we put a car amplifier in there with a big 12-volt battery and then a big speaker on the back so that it's super loud. And I was hoping they were going to do something with that. So there will be some modifications that myself and other pack builders will do to amplify the sound and to get more out of this pack. So that's the thing. Yes, you're going to start off by getting one of these. If you bought one directly from Hasbro, you got $600 in it. But you're going to have to put a lot of work into it to make it into something like one of the packs, like the professional packs that you've seen the cosplayers have for many years. Let's look at how the cyclotron and the power cells look. I like how they've done sort of a milky white texture here. We've debated about that over the years because there's been lots of arguments over the different movies where we're like, okay, should we see the LEDs or should they be masked out? I'm not really happy with the way these LEDs look. I mean, you see these 3 LEDs in here and it just doesn't look as cool. You'll see that we put a lot of time and effort into trying to make the entire red circle fill with light. And one of the ways we do that is with spacing. We try to get the light as far away from the lens as possible so that it fills it with light, and we use a very opaque red lens. And so that might be an upgrade that you have to do to this to try to get it to look a little bit more realistic. It looks like their bumper is slightly larger than the one that we have. We made this one something like more than 10 years ago in 2011, and I'm not going to lie, we kind of eyeballed it. So could be that this is the size it should be and it should be bigger, and maybe that's something we should update. The pack itself, we made a pull right off of one of the screen used shells. And supposedly that's what they did here. So I would think that these dimensions are pretty much the same if that's the case. But looking at the side of this thing, I mean, there's a lot that they got very right and other things that they got that's not so right. There's supposed to be a mount here. They have it here. Oh, what is that? Is that a button? Is that supposed to move? Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway, we can go over, we're going to look at the sides of this thing. I'm going to show you close-ups of what these real parts look like and close-ups of their replica parts. And that's this side. This is known as the ion arm. We machine these out of actual metal. And they did actually use metal here, but this is plastic. It just kind of pops on there. All right, let me turn it around this way, because I want to take a notice on these, what we call this HGA. You can see how we did ours and how they did theirs. Pretty good. I've noticed they've added this little thing. I don't remember seeing this in the movie, but you know, I'm sure it's there. They've taken a lot of liberty with the stuff that's here, this hose, all these little connections. This clippered valve is rather interesting. Looks like it went into an auto shutdown mode. That's kind of lame. Here's an actual clippered, the actual real one that we've added to this pack. So you can kind of see the difference in the diameter. Maybe they had to make it wrong on purpose to, you know, for copyright issues, although it does say clippered on it. Or maybe it was just a mistake in the manufacturing. But also noticing a difference with these, the top of this. You've got this other little, you know what this looks like? This looks like the top of like a cap from a lotion or a soap or something. I guarantee you that's what that is. It's some kind of a nozzle. But on the original pack, it was just a post. Now on some packs, you'll notice up on these areas, there's like a little nipple type dot. We don't have that on this one. They don't have it on this one either. They've got a little bit of a dimple. Of course, you know, this one's up a little higher because it's on the stand, but basically, you know, you've got your, what we call the ladder, which is made of 2 pencils and some other material, and that's what we use to make ours as well. They've got an additional connector here, this one here with this heat shrink tubing that wasn't on the original packs. That's something that they've added. Let's turn it this way, and we'll look at what are known as the injector tubes. These are much larger, thicker. I know what you're thinking. That's what she said. These are much bigger than the ones that we have on there. We have the red and the blue hose, which was on the GB2 version. They've got a black one. And see, you'll notice pieces keep coming loose and popping off, and this is going to happen a lot when you're messing around with this thing. The parts are put on very loosely, and I'm not kind of happy with that. All right, let's turn it around this towards the back. Whoops, and there goes the gun. And that's going to happen a lot because this hose is very gangly, and the connection on the back isn't super good either. I'm not real thrilled about the way it locks on there, because the way we do ours, it sticks on there really well. But, you know, what am I going to say? I mean, listen, you're talking about the difference between like a professional movie prop built. This pack sells for $3,500. This one's like $600. By the way, if you haven't been told already, these use D batteries. I think it uses 4 D cell batteries, and nobody has D batteries laying around, so make sure you have some. And I guess they did that so that you'd have to change them as least often as possible because they're nice and big. But you'll notice there's no frame here. Now they do have some screw holes here, and they come with some hardware so that you can mount a frame to it, I guess. And so we're going to do that. I'm actually a Rothco authorized dealer, and I get Alice pack frames, you know, new in the box. So what we're going to do is we're going to experiment with adding the Alice pack frame. So obviously we haven't got a chance to do that, but they give you this kit, and what that's for is you can see how and where the Alice packs mount and where they go. And you can see that they put those mounts here on the pack. Take it off the stand so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And we'll do another video showing how to do that. You've got these mounts here and down there, just like some of the original mounts would be on your Alice pack frame. So they designed it so that you could do that, where you could put it on a real pack. But of course, this is just plastic and that one is metal. I'm wondering, you know, if people will end up putting real metal motherboards, how much time and effort, you know, are people going to be willing to spend on their Hasbro Proton Packs? Because I would say, listen, this thing is pretty cool, but for the serious cosplayers out there, let me turn that back on. For the serious cosplayers that spend the big money, you know, we've been selling these Proton Packs since 2011 now for more than 10 years. And we've sold a lot of them, okay, probably like 500 of them. So chances are if you've been to a Comic-Con or Ghostbusters event, you've seen one of our packs on a Ghostbuster cosplayer. And that being said, you talk about the price difference. You're talking about almost, now they weren't always this much money. They weren't always over $3,000. I think when we first started selling them back in the day, they were like $1,500. That was a lot of money. But as you know, times have changed. And how they're selling this thing for the measly $600 it cost for the 2 of them with the shipping, even though it took a year. I don't anticipate them making more. I don't think they're going to do a second run of these. I think it really kicked their ass, and I'm willing to bet that they probably didn't make that much money off of these. I'm serious, because I'm in manufacturing and I make things, and every single one of these pieces had to be a separate tool. Every single one of them. And the tooling for these ABS injection molded things are so expensive. So I'm willing to bet that these are going to become great collector's items, and they're going to hold their value. They're going to go up in value, and they're going to hold their value. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time taking it apart, showing you the inside. Everybody else has always done that. I just wanted to do a video showing you kind of the difference between a fan-built or professional-built pack. You know, this pack is my personal Proton Pack. And what I did that was really special on this one is when we cast it, when you have the silicone mold, you would put in the gel coat first. Well, before I did that, I powdered it with aluminum powder. And that's why when you see this weathering here, what's interesting is this is not, take my knife, this is not paint. See, this is paint that's been added. Underneath this is actually silver. If I were to scrape off this paint, see what I just did there? There's actually silver under there. So this shell, before we painted it, was silver. Then we painted it and scratched off the paint to make it as realistic as possible. And then we use real parts wherever possible. You know, these old like Corvair thermostats and the real clippered valves, the real connectors, the real Raytheon knob, all those things were real parts. So this particular pack is probably worth a whole lot more all by itself. But that's my personal one that when I do events, this is the one that I use. I like the Mattel wand. I think the Mattel wand is great. And however, I will say that the Hasbro wand is really cool. I like the being able to change the different colors and the sound effects. You can do the game version or the Afterlife version or whatever. That's all fun. But the way we set this thing up and the way it makes noise, that's what this thing should do. So in future videos, we're going to work on seeing how we can modify the Hasbro pack to add a little oomph, put some more sound in it, get it to be louder, put in a rechargeable battery pack in the thing so you don't have to go back there and put D batteries in there. So these are some of the mods that we're going to work on. If this interests you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We do a lot of stuff. You know, you might have only come here just for this Ghostbuster content. We build the actual Ecto 1 cars. What we specialize in is building the DeLorean from Back to the Future. We've built 45 of those. We're Universal Studios vendors. And I work with Sony as well. And I appeared in the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, Answer the Call. I know everybody hates the movie, but I was there, watched them film it. I'm in the movie. Me and my wife are in the movie. So if you go back and watch it, I'm wearing the same outfit. When they're catching the dragon in the concert, I was a concert goer. But I was there for a week filming that. It was a lot of fun. And anyway, hopefully I can weasel my way into the next Afterlife movie. I'm really good buddies with Ernie Hudson because we do events together with our Ecto 1. And I've raised a lot of money for Autism Speaks. And we do that with the help of Ernie and Dan Aykroyd, who will autograph items that we auction off on our eBay, and we give 100% of the money, including the item. I take nothing from it, and we donate that to Autism Speaks. That's something that's important to me and important to the Ghostbusters, and maybe it's important to you too. So we haven't been on the scene selling some of our Proton Packs and stuff so much. We've been concentrating on the cars and setting up our Las Vegas location. We're putting together an amazing Ghostbusters attraction here in Las Vegas, and hopefully it'll be open soon. Just stay tuned for all that. In the meantime, thank you so much for being a Ghostbuster fan. Thanks for watching me, Videobob, right here on my channel. And I hope to see you soon.
Hey, everybody watching Videobob.
Hey, everybody watching Videobob.
He's about fun, this guy. Look at the cars he has. Look what he brings you guys. Tune in to Videobob. Please subscribe and keep the good work going.
Hello, Videobob. Videobob.